Coming up on this episode of Earth, as we move from coal to natural gas, we'll show you what's needed to move that gas safely and efficiently around the globe. We'll introduce you to a packaging solutions company that is turning the tide on the impact of plastic in our environment. Want to invest in the clean future of this planet? We found a sustainable and actually profitable way to invest in fighting climate change. And we'll show you how innovative resource management is truly making recycling sustainable. It's all coming up on Earth. Hi, I'm John Holden.
And I'm Andrea Ocampo. Welcome to Earth.
Hi, I'm John Holden, and welcome to Earth. We're starting off our show here in Mount Vernon, Ohio. You know, climate change and preserving our planet are on everyone's minds today as our nation makes the big switch from coal to natural gas for power generation. But moving that natural gas around the country and the world is now key, as you're about to see. Our air quality today is not what it was 100 years ago, but as our country moves from coal production to natural gas, the benefits to our environment are becoming quite clear.
The principal benefit from any energy source is if you can get enough of it cheaply and have it produced cleanly. Natural gas has an inherent advantage. It's so easy to make electricity with it or make heat with it and do it in a clean way. The world doesn't have enough natural gas. We can export a lot to them. In the meantime, they are, and they're going to burn more coal. That's what's happening all over Asia, all over the Pacific Rim. But what they're hungry for, because it's easy for them to get coal today, is for the future they want a lot more natural gas, which means the United States, which is its gushing gas from all the shale fields, needs to get it in pipes to the ports, on ships that can liquefy it and take it to those markets. It is, in fact, the single largest source of new fuel supply for the world for the next 20 years.
The key for this clean energy transformation is the movement of natural gas to where it's needed, from the wellheads to storage to market. It requires millions of miles of pipeline like this across the country and natural gas compressors to actually push it through the pipeline.
The gas compressor starts by pulling the gas up out of the ground. You can't get it without the compressor. After that, after processing, it's generally put into a pipeline where a compressor can move a pretty sizable amount of gas daily, about 100 miles at a time before you need to add more compression.
As the largest manufacturer of reciprocating natural gas compressors in the world, Ariel Corporation today leads the way in this natural gas movement. If you use natural gas for cooking, heating, or electrical generation, then that natural gas has probably been through an Ariel compressor.
So Ariel is the world's largest manufacturer of our style of compressors, and we are in just about every oil and gas producing area in the world. Our compressors can be deployed anywhere in the world where gas is being produced. So that might mean it goes right down the road to a field in Pennsylvania, or it may end up in remote Siberia or offshore somewhere. So really anywhere that hydrocarbons are being explored for, we're there.
We have always, from the very beginning, been about quality and integrity and longevity, because the equipment that we make lasts for 50, 75 years, and everything that we do as a manufacturer is around that. It's really important when you're moving natural gas around, it is a toxic substance, that the equipment that does that be perfect. For the next 100 years, something has to be burned to make electricity, and it will be natural gas, because that is the cleanest, most efficient, most abundant fuel available.
As a private, family-owned business based in Mount Vernon, Ohio, with over 2,000 employees from the communities where it operates, Ariel takes its concern for safety and the environment and applies it in the research and design and manufacturing of its compressors that are entirely American-made.
Our total factory or total footage under roof is about 1.4 million square feet, so it's pretty big. We have factories here in Mount Vernon and also in Newark, Ohio and Akron, Ohio. And this is our original plant. It's the biggest.
Since the forming of the company, we have over 60,000 compressors out there in the world. And they can go anywhere from Ohio to Asia to China. We even have some that are working right now in Siberia. We have 2,000 plus employees working on these. Ariel's putting out approximately 50 units per week, and we're really proud to be supporting natural gas as a clean energy and a fuel that everybody can use and is protective of the environment.
Our product's well known because it's well made, because our people care about it, and because our people support it. Every Ariel we always consider to always remain at least a little bit ours because we want to make sure that it's running for its lifetime.
For Ariel, this not only means pride in manufacturing quality and safety, but also concern for the environment of its own community.
That pride in community and preserving history is especially evident here in Mount Vernon, in a site called the Ariel Foundation Park, where Ariel helped the community transform an abandoned industrial site that made glass into a world-class public park.
This used to be the site of Pittsburgh Plate Glass, and there was a very large plant here. It was, I believe, about 1 million square feet. Kind of a really good example of recycling, because what was sort of a blighted landscape and wasn't doing anything positive, we were able to make it into this really beautiful park that's about 250 acres. Always leave it better than you found it. And so that's kind of what we've been doing here, is trying to leave it better than we found it.
Safety and quality are tantamount to Ariel's success. And part of our safe and quality product is in protecting the environment that we operate in. Natural gas is an important part of our energy solution in this country and around the world. And we need to make sure that people can get it safely and efficiently.
I think that that's what conservation is all about, is taking care of what you have and also taking it into the future and making it better.
And moving that natural gas safely and efficiently means a much cleaner future for this good earth.
Next up, field correspondent Andrea Ocampo is in Toronto, Canada.
Millions of dollars are being invested in cleaning up our oceans, rivers, and beaches in an effort to turn the tide and reduce the impact of plastic on the environment. These efforts are crucial, especially knowing global consumption rates are rising. But what if moving forward, there was a solution within our reach to lead into a circular economy using materials that can infinitely recycle? Let's take a closer look.
It's not a secret. As a society, we are widely dependent on single-use plastic. From straws, bags, and takeaway boxes, the amount of plastic items we use once then toss out is overwhelming, to say the least, and creating problems that even our landfills don't know what to do with them.
Well, in terms of finding solutions to the plastic that's used one way in the world today, we have to first start with solid waste. About 7.7 billion people in the world, and they produce about 2 billion tons of solid waste. Plastics represent about 12% of that total. So really they're part of everyday society. The challenge is that they're very, very durable. And as a result of being very durable, they don't break down in the environment very effectively. So really plastics in the environment and single-use plastics is a bit of a misnomer. Many of the plastics we use can be used again, indefinitely.
Sustainability is a very diverse problem, and it's going to be solved both globally as well as regionally. So I think it's key that as a global leader, we can talk to recyclers around the world, big brands around the world, look what's happening in Southeast Asia, or look what's happening in a Western country, and then educate others about that solution.
Husky Injection Molding Systems, a leading industrial technology supplier to the plastics processing community, creates equipment tackling the issue from the factory floor. Once upon a time, the onus rests heavily on us, the consumer, to reduce, reuse, and recycle. But it's becoming more and more clear that companies have a huge responsibility to transform the way plastics are created and viewed from the start.
We have a range of solutions to help our customers achieve their sustainability. And really, I'd walk it through sort of starting with the package. Let's design a package that is sustainable. And this is a great place where Husky closes the loop throughout the whole value chain. We talk to resin suppliers, we talk to PET recyclers, and we understand what happens to that package after it's done its journey.
PET is really the poster child in the different plastics. Like, if you look at it, it's a very simple material based on carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, the basic elements that Mother Nature gives us to build from. And the PET has the advantage that it's a very versatile material, it is food safe, and it can be recycled and it can be upcycled, so it can be used infinitely over and over. This bottle used to be 10, 15 gram. It's now to 5 gram, and actually this is a development with our partners that we call the Factor 100 bottle. What that means is this bottle can carry 100 times its own weight. So that is amazing, and if you think about it, all you need are these few pellets that make this bottle, and it's the most sustainable package today that is really available in the world. If you look at the materials, we quite often hear that reuse means that you use the same bottle again. But with PET, we have the opportunity to reshape this to a new shape and then reuse it, and you can have it back in your hands in 5 days. So that is an amazing property that really only PET offers us.
Whether it's innovation for productivity, whether it's innovation for product quality, or whether it's innovation to provide, for example, the ability to use post-consumer materials, it's really the way we integrate that and the fact that our systems do that more productively than any other that put us on the map.
With the help of more than 4,000 employees, Husky provides equipment and services to customers in over 100 countries, everything from beverage and food packaging, medical and home care. Those customers, mainly plastic packaging producers, are constantly on the lookout for new, innovative ways to develop more sustainable packaging options in order to reduce the impact of plastic on the environment while fulfilling their sustainable packaging goals.
And that allows their customers like Ice River Springs in Ontario to produce all of these packages from 100% recycled material. So that means instead of going to a landfill, bottles are given new life over and over and over again, continuing to give waste diversion its place in the circular economy.
So what we're trying to do in our company is show that we can actually be part of the solution for other PET and other PET packaging, not even just beverage, but clamshell material. So we can reuse that material again and again. Our stance is that there's enough plastic here on Earth now, we just have to find ways to reuse it. Sustainable business can be financially viable as well, and we want to show other global companies that this is possible. Husky is always pushing us to be at the forefront of that discussion. They have a bigger global presence than we do, so that's very beneficial for us, and they're always helping us to drive that message.
I think one of the key things is that we've worked with Ice River to reduce waste. They were looking to reduce cost, reduce waste, and become more vertically integrated. We keep working with our customers to ensure that the equipment also delivers on what we promised.
We look forward to driving innovation and also changing how people perceive plastics. So we want people to understand that plastics are a great part of our lives. They will always be a part of our lives, but we want consumers to see them as a valuable and sustainable resource.
We continue to take the time to listen well to what matters to a generation. And that'll change, right? Because we'll evolve, generations will evolve, those priorities will evolve. And I think listening well and making those solutions our mandate, we have to provide an environment that both makes us a very successful business. In our industry, it's called a top industrial, but more than anything else, attracts young people to the organization to develop a career, to tackle problems they didn't think they could solve, to deal with issues that are relevant to their generation, and that we continue to do that.
So when it comes to putting an end to the seemingly endless supply of plastic being produced, sustainability and innovation are key in not only creating items that are more easily recycled or contain recycled content, but also in making us think a little harder about simply throwing it away and being a part of the solution. Until next time.
Our next stop, Annapolis, Maryland. You know, in the investment world, we all want to feel good about what we invest in, so wouldn't it be nice to actually be able to invest in this good Earth and all that it stands for and its future? Well, sustainable investing is not only possible, it can be profitable as we all search for solutions to climate change, as you're about to see.
Climate change is an issue affecting all of us today. Billions of dollars is being spent on clean energy projects to combat emissions, with trillions planned in the decades to come, both to reduce emissions and create climate-resilient infrastructure for extreme weather events that are increasing in number and strength. For the average investor and the Earth itself, there's definite growth in going green.
There's a huge opportunity, a market opportunity. $100 billion is being invested now in the United States on clean energy and energy efficiency. That is going to go up tenfold over the course of the next decade or so, according to the analysts. So it's going to be a $100 trillion market. So there's big money to be made, and while these companies are making money and investors are making money, they're also going to be helping to save the planet.
No one could be more concerned with the effects of climate change on our environment than environmentalist and financier Jeff Eckel. He has built a successful business that invests in companies and technologies that mitigate climate change by reducing greenhouse gases and allowing facilities and energy consumers to adapt to climate change.
I've been studying U.S. energy policy for almost 40 years, and it's time we did the one thing we've never done: put a price on carbon. That will be the biggest climate change solution that we can imagine.
Jeff Eckel is able to oversee this investment opportunity because he's the chairman, president, and CEO of Hannon Armstrong, a premier capital provider for climate solutions in America, investing over $1 billion a year in sustainable infrastructure. Hannon Armstrong has the unique distinction of being the first U.S. public company exclusively focused on financing solutions to climate change.
Our mission is to be the premier investor in climate change solutions, and everybody is very conversant in the economics of carbon, and that makes our investment thesis come alive. We have very serious people here, very serious investment professionals, but with a higher purpose as well. They're here to make a difference. They can work a lot of different places. A lot of young people seek us out as this is where I want to work. This is the kind of enterprise that will bring value to the world down the road.
Hannon Armstrong uses its investment capital to fund a variety of national projects affected by climate change, including infrastructure and water system restoration projects to make our communities more resilient to extreme weather.
The impacts of climate change are here today in the Mid-Atlantic. We see more frequent, more severe storms, and that has an impact on our bay. And the Chesapeake Bay is very important to the Mid-Atlantic region, and stream restoration projects prevent nutrients like nitrogen and phosphorus from flowing into the bay.
So Jeff, what's been created here?
So what's been created is a repaired stream that slows the velocity of the water coming down, particularly in severe weather events. And what that does is prevent phosphorus and nitrogen from going unimpeded into the Chesapeake Bay. And it's a series of these natural dams that slow the water down, allow a wetland to be created and act as a sponge when the waterway is overloaded. And we just heard a frog back there. That frog probably hadn't been there because this wetlands has just been created in the last few weeks.
Hannon also invests in sustainable energy projects to make buildings more energy efficient, and wind and solar projects to power American homes and businesses free from carbon emissions.
The sustainable industry has been very successful in dramatically reducing the cost of the technology and will continue to do so, achieving parity with fossil fuels and even providing lower energy costs. But what's important to remember is that the fuel is free, the wind, the sun, but the cost of capital to install these projects requires access and competitive capital.
For instance, an increasing number of companies have committed to 100% renewable electricity for the delivery of clean energy. Companies like Target, on which we're standing on their roof right now.
This is a typical investment. Hannon Armstrong made a $50 million investment in a distributed energy portfolio, which included 200 different projects similar to this for commercial and industrial clients.
If people see Hannon Armstrong as a company that responsibly invested capital at scale and produced a great environmental benefit and produced fantastic returns for its investors, that would be an outstanding legacy.
And when it comes to investing on this good earth, it's really the best of both worlds. And you don't have to sacrifice returns in order to invest on the right side of climate change. Our next stop, Rutland, Vermont, this picturesque city in New England, known for its blazing autumn colors, is truly a strong supporter of recycling. But you know, recycling is only successful when the cycle is complete. And when China recently banned the flow of recycled material from the US, it totally disrupted the industry. But now an innovative resource management business is underway here that's truly making recycling sustainable. Let's take a look.
Recycling is now part of our DNA. When Americans sort their waste into recycling bins, they expect to be doing their part to save our environment. But since export markets like China began restricting the flow of recycled material from the U.S., the global recycling industry has changed dramatically.
China has all but exited the fiber markets. Several years ago, you saw a high degree of commodities from the U.S. making their way to China. Today, none of those commodities are going to China. We see mixed paper, think of junk mail, magazines, pricing down almost 95% in the last 2 years. We've seen cardboard pricing down nearly 70% in the last 2 years. And these two streams alone make up 2/3 of the recycling stream.
The problem is that 85% of the recycling stream today is of little value and doesn't cover the cost of recycling to meet sustainability goals. But Casella Waste Systems has shifted the business model of recycling to make recycling environmentally and economically sustainable.
The big challenge for us is this is not just a Casella issue, this is an industry issue, this is not a US issue, this is a global issue. China's demand and presence from a recycling perspective and the changes that they have made created a massive ripple effect across the world. So now we are in a place where we have the opportunity to make change. And I think from an economic perspective, that's exactly what we're doing. We are trying to create systems for sustainable recycling. Sustainable both for the preservation of where our materials can go, because we naturally have to send recyclables somewhere, but also sustainable from a business perspective.
Whenever people talk about sustainability, they really focus on the environment. But at Casella, we're focused on both the environment and the economic model. Our ability to invest in critical projects to take operating costs out, and also our ability to find end markets for these recyclables. We are actually going to drive profitability up year over year in our business. We may be one of the only companies in the United States who's doing this. We've made recycling truly sustainable in probably the most challenging market we've seen in 30 years.
In fact, these 1,300-pound bales of crushed cans are considered to be the golden nugget of the recycling industry. In 60 days' time, these crushed cans are going to be back on the storeroom shelves as new cans.
Casella Waste Systems has been ahead of the recycling market for much of its nearly 45-year existence, with a unique approach to ensuring its recycling programs are both economically and environmentally sustainable. It's the reason why they continue to see strong recycling revenue growth, even while others have faced a steep decline.
Started out as a one-truck operation. My brother Doug started the company in '75. I joined him in '76. And in 1977, we built the first recycling facility in Vermont. And those are the roots of the company. And And we've always looked at recycling as a major component of a waste management strategy, not a loss leader, but really an integral part of how we need to manage our waste. And it's really driven the business for 40 years, and now we're providing services to colleges and universities, to industrial customers, to municipalities, helping them meet their sustainability goals.
We're not just a waste company. We're a company that is solving complex problems for our customers at the source of generation, and that's really where the value is harvested. When we can go in and sit down with a client and understand exactly how they're manufacturing their product, we can then influence a wide variety of opportunities to recraft and reshape how those materials are being generated and then collected.
These customers include manufacturing companies like Hypertherm, a green company in New Hampshire and Vermont's Upper Valley that was looking for resource solutions to meet its commitment to sustainable recycling.
Recycling for Hypertherm is incredibly important. We're a Lean Six Sigma manufacturing, and for over 50 years we've been relentlessly focused on reducing lean waste like inventory and movement and defects. We then came to Casella, and together we developed a concept for a cooperative recycling center here in the Upper Valley. And we started to send all of our non-landfill waste through the cooperative recycling center. We set a goal in 2010 to become a zero landfill waste organization. We're at 1.8% right now, so we actually really rely heavily on our partnership with Casella to navigate the complexity of those markets for us at Hypertherm.
By us taking a small piece of risk, passing it back to our customers, investing in our infrastructure, we've been able to truly make this business model work even in this down cycle in the industry.
In this new green economy, Casella is on the leading edge of deploying resource solutions that are truly achieving success when it comes to recycling. I'm John Holden. Thanks for watching.